when I first started, you're right. Well, actually, it was like the late 70s or early 80s. There were so many great bands. I mean, the local talent would blow you away. I mean, now I never saw Van Halen live, but I was going to shows that time. I just kind of missed them. But I saw Randy Rhoads play with Quiet Riot. You know, I saw George Lynch play. I saw Carlos Cavazo and Snow. I thought they were amazing. There were so many great. I mean, these bands did not look like local talent. They looked just as big as the bands playing the arenas those days. You know, and for me, as being a young guy playing guitar, it made me, you know, up my game. Like, oh my God, we didn't play shows until we were ready to play shows. I have a funny story. I have a friend of mine that I met early on. We were working in a warehouse, and he's from New York. He moved from New York to LA to be a guitar player in a band. And this was before the 80s, you know. And the first night he goes, well, let me go see the local bands. And the first night he went and he saw Randy Rhoads play with Quiet Riot. And then the second night he saw Eddie Van Halen play with Van Halen. And he went, this is the local talent? I got to go practice. And he went back to New York. But I mean, that's what it was like. I mean, you saw these guys were gods, you know, and they were just local bands. They had day jobs, you know, it was incredible.
So you could just move from club to club and see great bands.
Absolutely. I mean, usually if, you know, one of the bands was headlining the Troubadour or something, there wasn't competition at the Whiskey. You know, they were pretty good about that. But, you know, those headlining bands were very, very good. They all, and, you know, also most of those bands, like from my era in the 80s, you know, when bands like Rat and Motley Crue got signed, and even up to Poison, none of them got signed to major labels. You know, all those were independent labels because rock was kind of dead during those years. But in Los Angeles, it wasn't dead at all. It was big.